Hello and welcome back to An Old Man Watches, where today I'm going to be talking about the 1998 film version of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats. Because believe it or not, the infamous 2019 Hollywood production was not the first screen adaptation of this stage musical, just the most infamous. This production hews much closer to the original stage production than the more recent offering, which means it has even less plot than the 2019 film does. Though, to be honest, the additional plot in the new movie meant that, if anything, the film made less sense. Uh, as far as this one goes, though, I can sum up pretty much the whole plot as follows. A bunch of cats are having a party where the wisest cat will choose one of them to go to the Heaviside Layer, some kind of very thinly defined afterlife or spirit world where that cat will be reborn. Several of the cats introduce themselves, or introduce one of the other cats. Then one particularly clever and wicked cat tries to steal the win by kidnapping the judge and impersonating him. This doesn't work, and the bad cat runs away. Instead, an old, sad lady cat who sings a belter of a song gets picked instead. The end. I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff going on in the show, such as a long sequence where the cats perform a play about dogs. Um, yes, indeed, this is a musical at one point where humans pretend to be cats, pretending to be dogs. But I mean, that stuff isn't really the plot, because honestly, I've summarized the entire plot in what, like 4 sentences. So Cats debuted on stage in London's West End in 1981 and was an immediate smash hit. A Broadway production debuted the following year, also to massive success. The show would chalk up over 7,000 performances in New York and nearly 9,000 in London. A lot of people went to see this. And the London stage show was deep into its phenomenal run when Andrew Lloyd Webber decided to bring the production to the small screen. The plan was for the film to be a recreation of the stage musical, but with new staging and edits made to reduce the runtime for television broadcast. The film was shot at the Adelphi Theatre in London. The cast vocals were recorded first, followed by two run-throughs of the entire stage production. These were captured from multiple angles by 16 cameras, and then the production process continued for a few weeks of close-up and pick-up shots, followed by some post-production effects work. So lots to do to kind of put this together. And the result is an odd fusion of stage and screen, not entirely one thing or the other. Like a stage show, the whole thing takes place in one single physical space, a space that in this case is intended to represent an old scrapyard. Like a stage show, several of the musical numbers end with a big performance crescendo that is clearly intended in a live performance to be met with a storm of audience applause, but isn't here because there is no audience, and that does feel a little bit weird at times. Another stage element is that in the back half there's a long, probably something like 15-minute sequence that is just dance with no dialogue or singing. And that probably works quite well as a live spectacle, but does feel rather odd in a movie. On the other hand, this is like a film in that it makes use of many cinematic camera cuts, shot variations, and other such structures. There are also several post-production effects included, most likely in the ghost-like figure of the Fiend of the Fell and lightning effects in Mr. Mistopheles. The show was also cut for runtime. A good 40 minutes was excised, including the entirety of the musical number Growl Tiger's Last Stand. As far as I know, this was the first time that particular sequence was eliminated from production of the show, but it wouldn't be the last, as we shall discuss later. So a show like Cats, with its barely there plot and characters who are only as defined as the single song used to introduce them, doesn't seem particularly well suited to provoke a strong emotional response. Certainly, I had no such emotional reactions to the 2019 movie, which mostly provoked bemusement and amusement. But if you've ever witnessed a parent or other loved one suffer through a serious physical and mental decline, then Jolton Mills' turn as Gus the Theatre Cat might make the room a little dusty for you. Having seen my own father go through advanced Parkinson's with dementia, this is a sequence that hit me really hard. From Mills's trembling hands to the slight vagueness of expression, it was all a little bit too familiar and real, to be honest. Grisabella's song Memory is designed to be the show's emotional cornerstone, and it's a banging tune, ably performed by the talented Elaine Page. But for me, it wasn't the moment that really hit me emotionally. It was definitely Gus. And you might feel the same if you've ever been through something similar. So be aware of that. Now, the single biggest difference between this production and the 2019 film, though, is that this one has a much greater sense of fun and whimsy. Yep, there are some emotional moments, but there's also a lot of silliness. In the 2019 film, Rebel Wilson's Jenny Anydott's number in the movie is beyond creepy, with CGI mice children and all kinds of other weirdness. This production's version is vibrant and fun and very playful. It's the moment where I went, wow, this is actually going to be enjoyable. Similarly, Rum Tum Tugger's introduction here, as he swaggers and struts around and the female cats go into Beatles mania style histrionics over him, is good fun. It's all quite goofy and over the top, but it's playfully so. The 2019 movie version doesn't have that sense of fun. Unfortunately, however, the age of this adaptation does mean that it has some unwelcome racism. In the scene where the cats perform a play about dogs, they characterise the Pekingese breed as heathen Chinese, which is not the best. That has been changed in some more recent adaptations of the stage show. And the number Growl Tiger's Last Stand, which was cut for runtime, is actually far worse. It included an outright racial slur in the lyrics and was initially performed with Western actors adopting fake Chinese accents, which is all pretty gross. As I said, from 2016 onwards, this number has been cut from the stage musical, which is far too late, but I guess at least it finally happened. And thankfully, as I said, it is one thing that they cut from this production in order to reduce the runtime. So yeah, if you want to see Cats to have the social context of one of the most successful stage musicals of all time, bizarrely successful, frankly, this is probably the best way to do it. It's much more affordable than seeing a live stage production, and it's actually much more fun than the 2019 movie. Next time, the 2006 zombie dramedy Fido, in which Scottish stand-up comedian Billy Connolly, obviously best known for his gift of the gab, shows some acting range as the near-mute title character, a zombie who obviously has almost nothing to say. That is next time. Until then, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you've seen this version of Cats or the 2019 version, let me know what you thought of them.